Hi all, welcome to One Pitch Catch. We are coming to you one day before the first test at Leeds starts, India versus England. It's going to be obviously be a pretty high profile and interesting series. We'll try and cover the likelihood of how the next few days will play out in terms of possible playing 11s and weather forecast, toss decision, etc., etc., etc. First, we want to just try and look at England have already announced their playing 11. Uh, Not too many surprises in there. So they're basically going to be having a very stable batting order that's been around for a while. Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope, who was confirmed at number three, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, Jamie Smith at number seven as a wicketkeeper batsman, Chris Wokes. So they basically do bat pretty deep all the way until Chris Wokes. I think Bryden Cars can also bat a bit. Then you have Josh Tongue and Shoaib Bashir. India have not yet announced their playing 11, but what do you think? I mean, do you think folks like Kuldeep or Shardul, Nitish Reddy will play? What about is somebody like Karuna confirmed to play? What about say Sai Sudarshan or Abhimanyu Ishwaran? Do you think any of them will play?
I am not sure. See, Jaga, I don't think Abhimanyu Easwaran will be in the race to get into the 11. Though he has scored a lot of runs in domestic, whenever it comes to facing Australia A or England A or these big teams, he's not scored that many runs, I feel, over the not just the series over the years. But he's a domestic giant. He's scored a lot of runs. He's there. This is not the first time that he's traveling. He's part of the squad. He's part of the squad earlier also. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he's not made his debut yet. Now, with all the uh, hype around Sai Sudarshan, I think Sai Sudarshan will pip him in case if he has to play as an opener. That is, if KL bats at three and you need an
Mm.
opener to bat along with Jaiswal, I think it would be Sai Sudarshan. But that is again left and left combination. I don't know. With that's given too much priority these days about left and right combination and things like that. So in that case, KL might open, and I'm not sure if Sai Sudarshan will be batting at three. In fact, Rishabh Pant in his press meet has confirmed that Shubman Gill will bat at four and he
Yeah.
himself will bat at five. I'm not sure. In fact, I was thinking Karun Nair might bat at five and Rishabh might bat at six.
Okay.
But now that Rishabh has confirmed that he'll bat at five, I think either Karun Nair should bat at six, on
Yeah.
or unless they are going to go uh, KL Rahul to bat at six. I don't think KL Rahul is going to bat at six. I more and more think KL Rahul is
Mm.
going to be number opener or number three, worst case, given
Eleven.
the inexperience in the side. I think Karun having KL Rahul bat at six would not benefit the team. I think, Jaga.
Yeah. Plus, also, I mean, he's in good touch and he's been doing well, at least in the Australia series he did pretty well. So if he's coming so low down, maybe a lot of the damage may have already happened by then, and in which case he may not really be able to get the best out of him.
Yeah, that is also true. And I mean, I heard Harsha recently say in a video that KL Rahul has not had one huge series that he can
Yeah,
call it
hasn't.
his series.
Yeah.
That is something that is missing from his CV, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wish like in this series every match he does well and he points to the ground like in Kantara what he did in the IPL and
so,
says this is my pitch.
I mean, somehow I think he has to. I mean, there are series where which is called as Bumrah series, this series, that's
Yeah.
Botham Ashes and all those things. I think KL Rahul deserves to have a series for himself. I think, but he's not done it yet. So I think this would be a very apt series for him to get going because he's probably the senior most batter in the side,
Yeah.
and the team is definitely looking up to him in terms of delivering. So I think I mean everybody this series is kind of built as India's batting versus England's bowling, both the weak links.
Mm.
I think in terms of between bowling and batting. On the England side, the batting is stronger, and the India side, the bowling is stronger. So
Yeah.
it's going to depend on how India bat and how England bowl. Okay, so that's how it is tipped as. But do you think that that really holds good in terms that the England bowling is looks the weakest of the all four in this series, Jaga?
It seems to be. I mean, because if you look at England's bowling, at least from whatever they have available in the first test, I think Chris Wokes is probably, and Ben Stokes are the only ones that have been around for a while. Bryden Cars has played like I think just a handful of tests, maybe six or seven.
Five, I think,
Uh,
and Tung has
yeah,
played
Josh
three, I
Tung
think.
is even lesser. Josh Tung is three tests.
Yeah,
Shoaib Bashir is around. Yeah, he's been around for like a year and a half now. But even then, that's only 11 tests. So yeah, definitely England's bowling definitely seems to be the least experienced among these combinations. Because India's batting, yes, it's lost Virat and Rohit and all that. But at the end of the day, you still do have names like Yashasvi Jaiswal has been around for like two plus years now. You have KL Rahul, you have Shubman Gill, you have Rishabh Pant for sure. They also have Jadeja. So it's not bereft of people. So yeah, I mean England's bowling definitely seems to be almost like the weaker link here, but it's still their home conditions, right? So
exactly.
they're still going to have some level of advantage around it. What I would like to see is Kuldeep play a lot more of the games, right? Because he, I think England will struggle against him just if they are going to go after the bowlers using the normal pass ball or bend ball or whatever you want to call it tactics, then he becomes very important in terms of his ability to. They would, I don't know. I mean, has Jamie Smith or any of these folks? I mean, Ben Stokes also struggles against spin.
Yes.
So I think spin is going to be pretty important, which sort of leads into the weather forecast as such. When I looked it up, it was going to be sunny and in fact mid to late 20s degrees temperature on day one and two. Some rain post like almost like the last session on day two and three. Again it goes back to sunny days on day four and day five. So from that perspective, I think no. There will be a lot of help for spin because of the heat and the temperature and the dry conditions. So this is a great opportunity, and you don't generally see that in England in June. You may see some of these conditions in like a July or an August, but definitely not in June, right? So over the years, you've seen instances of teams playing in England in June, and basically they get wiped out because the conditions are so helpful for swing bowling that they just can't cope. This is a great opportunity to play two spinners, Jadeja and Kuldeep. I don't see Washington at least starting, so I think it will be a good opportunity to literally let Kuldeep lose against them. Now, what do you do when you win the toss? Then, like just given the conditions should you win the toss and bat, or the other way to look at it, because the conditions are dry, right? But on the other hand, your strength is your bowling against England's batting, and whatever help there may be for some fast bowlers, it will be on day one in the first couple of sessions. So do you want to just take that, or the third option is lose the toss and hope that the other captain gets it wrong? That's the only
That's
other
the best
option.
option, I think, at least going into the first test with the inexperienced side. I mean, though we've spoken about Jaiswal, Gill, Rahul, and Pant have been spent some time with the team, much more. But I think it's given the high-profile series, I think the third option would be the best to hope for it. But I saw the stat also. Ever since McCullum took over in England, the six times teams have won the toss and opted to bat and have lost on all six times.
Hmm.
So, and one other thing with Cars and Tongue, I mean, they are kind of unknowns. Okay, we can't
Yeah.
go underestimating them. They are not abroad. They
Yeah.
are not going to be abroad or an Anderson. Yes, true, but that doesn't mean you can just take them lightly because it is
Correct.
like you said, it's their home conditions. Tongue and Cars have grown up there. They know the side. I
Right.
mean, the problem has always been that sidewards movement, right? I mean, even a new batter who comes into the scene and his debut series in Australia, he can handle, because
Yeah,
Australia is not so much swing movement, right? It's the
correct.
bounce
Yeah,
that you have to. And I mean, nowadays, even barring one or two players, I mean, even subcontinent players are coping, have started to cope with bounce also. Now, it's not like 15, 20 years ago. But the swing is something that nobody, I mean, even the Australians struggle against,
right. Yeah,
even the
correct.
English batsmen struggle against good swing bowlers.
Yeah,
So swing bowling is something that is still not conquered, I would say. I
correct.
mean,
Yeah,
batting against swing bowling.
right.
So
And
and like you say, yes, I think it would not be wise to not play Kuldeep in the 11. Kuldeep has to be in the 11, given the way England are approaching Test cricket,
mm,
and Ben Stokes' weakness against spin. And I mean, I think Root will play spin very well. Apart from that, there is a lot of opportunity. I mean, even when you're going, I mean, suddenly he might concede a couple of two or three sixes in an over, even in a test match. But he would come back the next over and pick 2 wickets also.
correct.
Um,
Yeah,
I mean, he can induce those false shots, leading
right. Yeah,
edges, and I mean, all those things
clogs.
can happen. And given the way England bats, they're not batting like Test cricket. So,
Yeah, correct.
uh, so that is, I mean, I don't think, I think they will play Kuldeep. It would not be, I think it would be definitely unwise not to play him. I am hoping to see him in the 11, which makes it like, say, for example, we'll keep it as Rahul as opening along with
Mm,
Jaiswal, and keep
yeah, most likely.
maybe have Sai Sudarshan at 3, tentatively, and then 4 is Gill, 5 is Pant, 6 is Karun,
So nine.
7 is Jadeja, 8, 9, 10, 11 would be, 8 would be Nitish or Shardul.
Or Shardul. Yeah, but Nitish's bowling is not as comparable to Shardul, right? So then it becomes a call on whether you want to have one extra batsman or one extra bowler. Or I mean, half an extra batsman or half an extra bowler.
Yeah. So that way, I mean, that way, I think Shardul might sound a better bet, especially swinging
Hmm.
conditions. And he has this knack of picking some big wickets suddenly, though he goes for runs. Even in the last test he played in England, that he went and lost that to made the 2-1 into
Yeah,
2-2, where they chased 378.
yeah.
Bairstow hit a lot of runs. He gave away some 10 over 65 or something like that in the fourth innings. Um, so uh, so Nitish or Shardul, and then the remaining three would be, one will be Kuldeep,
Kuldeep,
and
Sirajan.
then Bumrah Siraj. It
Just
becomes easy. Bumrah Siraj is a no-brainer to start with.
yeah.
And the other thing that we've been hearing in the last 3 days about Bumrah is going to play only 3 test matches. Even Bumrah says that he relinquished captaincy. I mean, he didn't opt for captaincy because he's going to be available only for 3 tests. What do you think of that, Jaga?
I have no idea. Even if that's the plan, I don't know why you would want to disclose it. In fact, they disclosed it even as of the time the whole captaincy decision was announced, where they said, no, we didn't consider Bumrah because he was not going to be available for all 5 tests. He would maximum play 3 tests. Why do you want to tell your opponent that your number one attacking option is only going to play the 3 tests, right? Next, why don't you just say which all tests, right? Just make it easier for everybody, right? And also say, oh, what line and length he's going to bowl, when he's going to bowl the Yorker or bouncer. Just say everything. Now, why disclose? Why not just be fully transparent about it? That's just bizarre. I would like for him to play as many as possible. I had a gut feeling that all of this may also just be a decoy. Maybe he will play four or perhaps even five if the recovery is fine. But I don't see a reason why you would even announce something like that so much in advance, right? There's no need to tell the press. I mean, even the announcement of the captaincy, they could have just said, let's be Bumrah. In fact, that's what Bumrah told Dinesh Karthik in the Sky Sports interview, which is, I think, published a couple of days ago. He said, I said, I'm not sure I'll play all the tests, so I don't want to be in a captaincy situation where as a captain I'm not able to play continuously. You don't even need to get into that level of detail in the when you're announcing the captain. You just say that Jasprit Bumrah contacted us saying he does not want to be considered for captaincy. Finished. End of
Exactly. You
story.
don't have to justify to the world why you are not captain.
The weird thing is, some until some years ago, the BCCI selector will be at a press conference and take questions.
Hmm.
They moved away from that model where the selectors basically announce, or selector or secretary announces the squad, goes away. Then now it seems like they're taking questions. Like, just have some consistency around it, right? இதுக்கு the previous scenario of not taking questions is better, right? You don't have to disclose anything more than what's needed.
Even if you take questions, I think there are certain things that you don't disclose. I mean, this Bumrah situation is completely unwarranted, I feel. I mean, like you say, if it's a decoy and he plays 5 test matches, that is well and good for us. But I am not sure. I mean, given the way that it is played out everywhere, I am not sure if it's a decoy. This
Yeah.
reminds me of a situation in a couple of tours back to England on day one of Test 1. Ashwin bowled brilliantly. I think he picked 2 or 3 wickets at the end of the day, and England were in a spot of bother when on day one of Test 1. And towards the end of the day, after the game ended, there was Sky Sports interview where he was explaining to the anchor about what was the variations he used, how he used the revolutions on the ball, how he used the pitch, how he used the shining side of the ball, all those things. And then, in fact, I remember Gavaskar going berserk on commentary saying, why do you want to disclose on such a 5 test series, a 5 or 4 test series? On the day one of Test 1, you are giving away your tricks. Now, what does that mean? I mean, whether that worked or not, whether because of that or not, eventually Ashwin did not bowl that well in the remaining series, the remaining
Yes.
days in the series. But that is absolutely bizarre what Ashwin did that day. I mean, the Sky Sports anchor was smart enough to get it out of Ashwin. Ashwin should have been even more smarter, maybe. I don't know. But it worked against Ashwin definitely in that series.
Yeah.
So similarly, this reminds me of that Bumrah saying, "I'll play only 3 tests. It could be 1, 3, or 5, or we will have to decide the numbers." No, you just pick 18, 16 squad and go there. Then you decide.
That's it. Yeah.
Then, I mean, Arshdeep or Prasidh Krishna don't say, "I will play only 1 test," right?
They can't choose, but
No, yes, Bumrah has achieved enough, and he is in a situation to choose his body, and it's important for the country to keep him playing for a longer time as much as possible. All that I agree, but you keep it in the dressing room. There are a lot of things that
exactly.
happens in the dressing room that don't come out. This should be one
Yeah.
of those things. This should be one of those things. Mm.
It is just bizarre disclosing that in the boys movie, Sendil Solare, information is wealth. That's what comes to my mind, right? Why are you giving this away? There is no reason for you to disclose this. Then, like I said, then why don't இதெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு ஆனா you're announcing you have not announced the playing 11 one day before the match. Then you can do that also, right?
And Rishabh Pant says he is not. They have not decided the number 3 yet, as of yesterday.
ஆமா.
So I mean, I
Only 4
can't
and
believe
5 is decided.
48 hours before you have not decided the number 3, but you have decided Bumrah is going to play only 3 test
Yeah.
matches.
So if we assume that that is also a decoy, maybe because they want to keep England guessing, then why don't you apply the same principle for Jasprit Bumrah's presence or absence?
Exactly. That is the. Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm, mm.
yeah, I think that's pretty much what we wanted to cover. So we hope it's going to be a great series. We hope it's going to be a great test match starting tomorrow, and we'll stay tuned.
Can't
We'll
wait.
keep your
Can't wait. It's a
comments
big
and feedback
series.
coming.
Can't
Yeah, it
wait
is.
after. I mean, though we've
In a very,
watched it.
it's going to be a very interesting series, right? I mean, you're talking about a side in transition, and even England have had, they don't have, obviously, they don't have Anderson and Broad, they don't have Archer, and Ollie Robinson. A lot of other folks are also injured and out for various reasons. So it's an interesting series for in multiple ways than one. Uh, yeah, is this the start of a transition? Is it just one milestone in the transition? We don't know, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around, positivity going around, saying, maybe this will be the series where all the people will stand up and India will win their favorites. I don't think India are the favorites. I still think England are the favorites, just because it's home and some of the batting losses that we have had. I mean, not like Rohit and Virat were contributing too much
With the bat, but
recently.
with the
Yeah,
but with the
but it's
atmosphere in the
just the
dressing room.
experience sometimes that
Yeah.
counts.
Mm. But I think yes, I think definitely England start as favorites. But as every Indian fan, we should be hoping that will SG do a GS? Shubman Gill, Graham Smith.
Yeah.
So if he does a Graham Smith, and I think Nasser Hussain lost captaincy after that series, right?
Yeah. I think he said Graham Who or something like that.
Yeah, Graham Who, when before the first test, he said Graham Who,
Yeah.
and then he got 2 double hundreds. So
Yeah.
even if not double hundreds, at least, yeah, I mean, I think England winning 3-2 would be a good result for India, I think, Jaga.
Hmm.
I think
I don't
India
know
can
all
be.
tests will have results. There could be some rain somewhere. So I think in England, you always have to budget for one test being rained out for
I mean,
various reasons.
then I mean, if it's at the end of the 5 tests, if it is 2-2, I'm sure
Yeah.
the happier dressing room should be India.
Correct. Yeah.
So
And I think
I mean,
the other important piece here is Shubman's run making also, right? I mean, he averages mid 30s over the last, what? I think he started in 2020, right? 2021. So around 5 years, 4 years now, he's in the mid 30s. He has to make it work because if the captain is not able to score those runs, then at some point of time, if his own place in the team becomes questionable, which by the way was never the case for say Virat, even despite all his bad performances between say around the 2018 onwards or 19 onwards. So that's never been a question. But with Shubman, you don't want to get in that stage because then the pressure just starts building.
exactly. But I mean, this is a very tough place to prove your batting credentials,
Yeah.
especially having the captaincy burden also on your shoulders. But that will test him. I think if he comes out in flying colors, that's good for Indian cricket.
Tough plays and circumstances because like we've seen with the WTC, most teams are opting for very result oriented pitches, so that means there's a
Yeah, yeah.
much lower batting averages than earlier, so that makes it even more challenging, not just for Shubman but even think about
Everybody.
somebody like a Sai Sudarshan or an Abhimanyu or even a Karun Nair, like they're all making comebacks or they're starting for the first time and you get some of the spiciest wickets. It's kind of tough. You
Yeah, it is.
feel.
I think it is a very tough era for batting. In the last
Yeah.
6 years, it's become very tough for batting. The batting averages seems going down, like we saw in the WTC cycle numbers. The bowling averages are going up, bowling so strike rates and numbers. Like I said, it is a very tough tour for Shubman, but it is actually a very tough era for batsmen also. Karun Nair is not going to get the same leeway that he got when he debuted and got that 300 initially. It's a different game altogether now.
Yeah.
The bowlers and of course it was in Chennai. This is going to be
Yeah.
in Leeds. It's going to be different, but I'm sure he knows that. So hoping for a cracking 5 test game. I mean, looking forward to watching the tests. Obviously,
Yeah, sure.
a lot of
With that,
color cricket. Of course, we saw the WTC final,
uh,
but then we look
but
forward
it's
to a
an
long,
extended period of whites
extended
cricket.
periods of test cricket.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you all, and we'll come back in a few days as the game progresses. Until then, please do watch the videos and leave your comment and subscribe to the channels. Bye.
Thank you.